What is the spiritual dream meaning of a cave? Listen, this isn't just some random dream. This is your psyche's most urgent communication. Transformation is no longer optional. It's about survival. So what is hiding in there? Because let's be clear, a cave doesn't just show up in your dreams for no reason. It's a mirror of your innermost world, and you've been called to finally look inside. Okay, to unlock what this cave means, you need the right keys. We're gonna look at this through three, let's call them interlocking lenses, to see what's really going on in there. First up, the Freudian key. For Freud, the cave is the unconscious mind. Simple as that. It's a symbolic return to the womb, a deep dive into all your repressed desires, your most primal drives. This is where the stuff you hide even from yourself lives. Then there's the Jungian key. Now, for Jung, this is way more than just repressed stuff. This is your psyche's inner sanctum. This is a direct encounter with universal archetypes. We're talking the great mother, your own shadow that you deny, and yeah, ultimately, your true self. This is holy ground. You get it? And finally, we've got the Campbellian key. This one frames the whole thing as a mythic quest. You're the hero. The cave? That's the belly of the whale. It's that critical, necessary step into the underworld. Look, real transformation doesn't happen out in the sunshine. It happens right here, in the dark. All right, now let's take these keys and use them on the really unsettling visions, the ones that crawl up from the depths. We'll start with fear and entrapment. So, you dream you're trapped in a cave. This is one of the most urgent variations of this dream, period. What does it mean? It means your own unconscious patterns have literally built you a jail. This is your dead-end career, this is that toxic relationship you can't leave, it's your addiction. And the message isn't a suggestion, it's a command. Break free or break down. The choice is yours. And then there's the empty, echoless cave. Chilling, right? This dream points directly to burnout, deep depression, that feeling of absolute nothingness after a huge loss. But listen to me, this void is not failure. It is preparation. Your psyche is clearing house, emptying you of everything that no longer serves you, just to make space for something truer to come in. But look, the cave isn't all fear and darkness. No way. It's also the site of incredible breakthroughs, of revelation. It's where you find the light. And that brings us to seeing a glowing light in the darkness. That light, that's the self. That is the luminous, integrated core of who you actually are. It's a huge sign, a creative breakthrough, a spiritual awakening. It's happening. The message couldn't be clearer. Do not stop. Keep going. That light is real, and you are so much closer than you think. And then, of course, there's the ultimate reward for making this descent: discovering treasure. But let's be real. The treasure you find isn't gold or jewels. It's you. It's the fully integrated self. It's finally recognizing your own talents, finding your true calling. The treasure is the insight, the power, and the wisdom that was already inside you the whole time. So what happens when you're not alone in the cave? What if you meet other beings down there? Here's the secret. They aren't separate from you. They are you. They're just a message in the mirror. If you see an animal down there, I'm telling you now, do not kill it. That's your own power in its rawest form. The bear? That's your primal wisdom, your fierce, protective self. And the snake? That's your power to transform, the raw psychic energy you need to shed your old skin and be reborn. Don't fight them. Learn their language. So in the end, this entire journey, it all leads to one profound truth. The treasure was always there. Nothing was ever lost. You just needed the courage to go into the dark to find it. The cave was just the path you had to walk, the darkness you had to face to finally claim what was yours all along. So now you have to ask yourself, the cave is a mirror. What does yours show you?
You had the dream. You went into the cave. But now the real work begins.
Part 2. How to apply this dream vision to your life. All right, first things first. You have to diagnose. You've got to map out the inner terrain that your unconscious just revealed to you. This wasn't just a dream, it's a map.
That cave dream you had? It's a direct invitation to finally start your shadow work. You know, the process of confronting the parts of yourself you've been trying to bury. And this journal, this is your way in. Every morning, just for 10 minutes, you write about all the stuff you push down. The envy, the anger, the things you pretend you don't feel.
This is the only question that really matters. What are you hiding? Not just from everyone else, but more importantly, from yourself.
That blank page is the cave wall, and you have to write the things you would never ever say out loud. And let's be clear, this isn't about feeling better. This is about dissolving the unconscious patterns that have been running your life without your permission. Okay, now you're gonna connect this dream to your actual waking life, because the cave is always a place, a person, or a feeling you are actively avoiding. Is it that conversation you keep dodging, that career change that scares you to death, that loss you refuse to actually process? You have to name it. Because the second you put a name to it, you've taken the first step inside. This is the very beginning of the hero's journey. And that cave you're so afraid to enter, that is precisely where your treasure is buried. So use this dream as a diagnostic tool. Where are you in your own story right now? Are you just standing at the threshold, stalling and refusing the call? Are you deep in a crisis, in the belly of the whale? Or are you just coming out the other side, trying to make sense of the wisdom you fought so hard for? Your unconscious isn't wasting its time with vague metaphors. Every single detail in that dream, the temperature, the color, who is there, it's a specific, targeted message for you and you alone to decode right now. So once you've mapped the terrain, the next stage is direct confrontation. There's no other way through this. You know, Freud was crystal clear about this. Pushing an emotion down doesn't make it go away. It just buries it alive. And trust me, it will claw its way out later, as anxiety, as rage, as physical illness. This work is about facing it before it takes you over completely.
So here's the work. This week, I want you to pick one emotion you've been refusing to feel. Just one. Set a timer for 20 minutes and just sit with it. No phone, no music, no escape. This is the practical work of actually entering the cave. And I promise you, you will survive the feeling.
Now, if another person showed up in your dream, that's a huge signal from your psyche. It's time to integrate your inner masculine and feminine energies, what Carl Jung called the animus and anima. So for the men listening, where are you cutting off your emotion, your intuition? And for the women, where are you suppressing your ambition, your directness, your will to power?
And what if an animal was there? Well, that's your instinctual self, and it's demanding to be seen. What does that animal represent? Aggression? Freedom? Sexuality? Ask yourself, where in my life am I keeping that energy locked in a cage?
That animal isn't your enemy, it's your power source. And it demands a healthy channel. We're talking intense physical training, creative work, martial arts. You have to give it an outlet, or it will tear you apart from the inside. Look, insight is not enough. You have to anchor the internal change with external action, and that is the work of ritual. If fire showed up in your dream, your psyche is demanding purification. So here's what you do. Write down the resentments, the old identities, the toxic beliefs that are holding you back. Then you burn the paper, and as it turns to ash, you state out loud that you are releasing whatever that fire is consuming.
The cave is a symbol of a sacred retreat. So sometime in the next 30 days, I want you to schedule 24 hours of intentional solitude. And I mean it. No social media, no noise, no performing for anyone. Your soul cannot be heard over the constant stimulation of modern life. It demands silence.
And listen, this can't be a one-time thing. You need a daily practice of descent. Meditation, breathwork, something for 15 minutes a day where you visit your inner world on purpose. Because those who choose to descend, well, they don't get dragged down.
And finally, you must bring the treasure back. The entire journey is meaningless if the wisdom you found stays locked in the underworld.
The hero always returns to share what they've learned. You have to tell your story, the dream, its revelations, to one person you trust completely. A therapist, a mentor, a partner. Because speaking it out loud is what makes the treasure real.
Your cave dream, it's the outline for the next chapter of your life. So write it. Write your story up to this point as if it were a myth. Identify the ordeal, identify the cave, and then write what comes next. Not what you fear, but what the myth you're now living demands of you.
Because in the end, the cave is the most honest place in your psyche. And it's asking you the only question that has ever mattered. Are you willing to go into the dark,
to find out who you really are.
The cave is open.
The descent is voluntary.
And the treasure is real.